You're listening to the Life Coaching Secrets Podcast, episode 246.
Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets.
What's up, coaches? So I was going through some of our past episodes on the show, and I found one that absolutely deserves another listen. You know how there's some songs that just never get old, and they're still just as catchy and meaningful? Well, this episode I'm going to share is like that. It is one of our most insightful and game-changing episodes, and I know it will still be just as powerful today. So I'm bringing it back for you to enjoy. Here it is.
In this episode, I'm going to talk about how to be taken seriously as a life coach. This is a question that comes up quite a bit in the academy. Our coaches say, hey, so how am I going to be taken seriously? Are people really going to want to hire life coaches? Is this a career path that other people see with respect? So I want to break all of that down. I want to debunk some myths, and I want to give you specific ways that you can make sure you are taken seriously as a life coach. Now, this episode is part of the 12 days of podcasts. So make sure you are subscribed to the Life Coaching Secrets podcast so you are getting all the updates and not missing a single one. All right, so let me take you back into when I started out as a coach. So I was starting out in my early 20s. And it was one of the biggest fears I had. How on earth are people going to take me seriously? I'm too young. I don't have enough life experience. I don't have enough a perspective or wisdom on life. So is this really going to work out for me? I can tell you that it did work out. I went on to make over $1 million as a life coach over the years. So obviously something worked out there. But I was very afraid in the beginning. I wasn't sure really if things would work out. So I want to share with you what I found to work best when it comes to establishing your credibility as a life coach. Now, one of the important things to do, of course, is getting coach training and also getting proper mentorship. So you feel really solid about the coaching skills that you apply, because there are a lot of people out there that are just winging it as a coach, and they are relying on their intuition to coach people. And listen, I know intuition is important. It's great. But what you want to do is you want to start out learning proven frameworks, and then you integrate your intuition into those frameworks. And this goes for any skill, right? If you want to learn an instrument, if you want to learn a language, you don't just rely on your intuition to figure out how to play the right notes or how to say the right words. Like I started learning piano a couple years ago. Imagine if I just sat at a keyboard and just said, you know what, I'm going to let my intuition guide me through learning this instrument. I would be so lost, right? So what I ended up hiring a piano teacher and a piano coach, and she's been a coach in many ways at keeping me very encouraged. And what she's done is she taught me how to learn specific strategies for playing the piano. And this goes for any skill set in your life, any skill set, language that you learn to speak, sport you play, absolutely anything. So the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you are learning proven frameworks. You're getting the proper training, the proper mentorship that you know is going to set you up for success. Because when you have frameworks in front of you, then when you have a client who starts talking about their challenge, you're going to feel peaceful. You're going to feel calm. You're not going to feel chaotic or unsure and scattered. You know exactly what approach to take, what questions to ask, what tools to use with your clients. So that is the first thing to do, making sure that you have gotten solid training. Now, sometimes when I talk with our prospective students, they say that they've gone through other coach training programs and they don't feel secure and confident in their coaching. And this is upsetting to me. It's really upsetting. So it's really important that you get the right support, that you get the training that's really going to give you what you need, okay? So this is why in the Academy, we offer lifetime support and lifetime membership. And sometimes when students enroll, they're surprised. They say, well, is it really lifetime? Yes, it's absolutely lifetime. So that means that when you go through the program and you get certified, we aren't kicking you out. We are keeping the door open. You are allowed to reattend modules as often as you'd like. You are allowed to even join our business mentoring calls as often as you'd like. So this is one of the, I think, features that's important for coaches to have, because when I was going through coach training as a student, it was not like that. We were shoved through a program with a lot of people. It was a big classroom. We were crammed through these long 30-hour weekends of training, and it was not an optimal learning environment. We were all overwhelmed. We were confused. And then before you know it, the program was over, and it was basically like, good luck. Hope you figure it out. And when I designed Thriving Coach Academy, I knew that was exactly what I did not want to see happen with our coaches in the Academy. So that's why you get lifetime support, and you just want to make sure that whatever path you take, that you really are supported. Okay, if you have a big mission, it's going to require big support, and you want to make sure you're getting the best possible support that you can get and also that you deserve. Okay, so something else I want to say about being taken seriously is, first of all, like, not everyone's not going to take you seriously, no matter how hard you try. So don't make it your mission for people to take you seriously, because then you might start trying to prove yourself to others as a life coach, and you have absolutely nothing to prove. Not every single person on the planet is coachable, and not every single person desires coaching. Now, can everyone on the planet benefit from coaching? Yes, absolutely. But not everyone is in a state in their life where they're ready to receive coaching or they are desiring it, okay? So don't make yourself in this desperate state where you're trying to prove to people who are not coachable why they need coaching and why life coaching is a serious career path. You can be putting so much of your energy on finding the people that are ready for change, they are ready for transformation, they are ready to invest in themselves and their dreams, right? Those are the types of clients that you want to attract and that you want to focus on. So if you feel like you're trying to win people over, if you feel like you're trying to convince others why they need coaching, why coaching is so amazing, then it might be time to shift your focus somewhere else. Everyone's going to have their thoughts and opinions on coaching, just like people have their thoughts and opinions on any industry. You want to focus on the people that are attracted to you and what you have to offer. There are still many people today who think that therapists are unnecessary and that therapy is not a really important career path. There are people who think, why on earth would you pay someone to talk about your feelings? Why would you do that, right? But if you care about mental health, you know that therapy is extremely valuable for people, especially those who are going through significant emotional distress and trauma and are suffering through mental illnesses, right? Therapy is so great. I've hired therapists and worked with them in my life and found it to be very helpful, just like I have and continue to work with coaches who have been very helpful and very valuable for me in my life, okay? So just because there are people out there that don't see coaching as a serious career path doesn't mean that you have to win them over. There are still people today that I say life coaching, and it doesn't happen very often because the global perception around coaching has changed so much over the decade that I've been in the industry, and it's been cool to see that. But there are still going to be some people that just don't really think coaching is so serious. Rather than giving all of your power to them, put your power on knowing the value that you have to offer, knowing that coaching works, like knowing it in your bones, but not having to preach it to others. It exudes in your marketing when you're trying to convince others why coaching is so important versus you already know it's important and you're just standing in your power and you're letting people decide whether or not they want to move towards that and work with you or enroll in your program. Okay, so we talked about the importance of getting proper coach training and mentorship, making sure you have lifetime access to that. We also talk about not trying to get everyone to take you seriously, because that's really an unwinnable goal and it's not a necessary goal for you to try to achieve. Now, another thing that you can do to help you be taken seriously by the right people is you can specialize your coaching. What that means is a lot of people talk about having a niche. There's a lot of beliefs around how necessary it is. So you don't have to have a niche to be successful as a coach. And a niche, by the way, is it's a specific person you help, or it's a specific problem that you address for somebody. So you can have a problem-specific niche or a person-specific niche. So for example, you might be the life coach for divorced moms or single women, right? That might be your niche. That's a person specific. It's a specific person that you work with. However, you might also have a problem specific niche, which could mean something like, I help single people find love. I help people struggling to make more money in their career. I help people find their life purpose. These are specific problems that people might have. I help people lose 10 pounds, right? This is a problem that someone have. Now you might have a combination of a problem and a person. And that could be something like, I help single gay men find love, right? There's a specific person and there's a specific problem. The person would be a gay man. The problem would be relationships and finding love. So the truth about having a niche is you don't need to. When I started out, I was just there to coach anyone who wanted coaching. And I did a lot of workshops. And my workshops were for people that just wanted to learn more about their mind and how to use their brain to get results in their life. So I didn't have a niche for the first couple of years as a coach. And then as I started to fill my practice, I started noticing that this is the best way I can describe it. I noticed that my aura was brighter when I was working with certain clients on certain topics. My aura was brighter. And I started tuning into that, and I realized that my niche was right in front of me. So I started, even though I loved working with all people on all things, I began to specialize and work with particular types of people. So I recommend when you get started, if you might have a niche already in mind, that's great. But if you don't, that's also okay, because you just want to get as much exposure and experience as you can. And then over time, your niche is going to reveal itself to you. It's going to be so crystal clear and it's going to be so obvious. We also have several templates that we give our students in the academy that will help you really narrow down your niche and know what some of the most profitable niches are in the coaching industry. So another reason why a niche and a specialty may be a way to be taken seriously is because it makes you a bigger fish in a smaller pond. A big fish in a small pond. So if you think about a pond of fish, right? When you are a little fish in a big pond, then you just blend in with all the other fish. You don't stand out. However, when you specialize, now you are known for something different. So when people say, "Oh, there's a lot of life coaches out there," yeah, of course there are. But when you start to specialize, now you're not just a standard or generic life coach. You are now a unique life coach. You are a unique coach because you are helping some specific person with a specific problem. So that makes you a big fish in a small pond. So you want to think about, how can I make myself a big fish in a small pond? So rather than saying I'm a life coach, period, because a lot of coaches just say, "Oh, I'm a life coach," and that's not really speaking to any particular person. What if you started seeing yourself as the life coach for blank person or for blank problem? So again, instead of I'm a life coach, you start seeing yourself as I am the life coach for blank person. I am the life coach for blank problem. Okay? So specializing is a way for you to stand out. Just like you have your generic doctor that you might go to, right? Your regular doctor that you might see just to get an annual checkup or whatever it might be. And then if you have a particular type of problem, then you might not just go to your primary care physician. You might see a specialist, right? So if you have a heart problem, if you could choose between the primary care physician or the cardiologist, which one is going to stand out? Which one's going to be more attuned to helping you? The specialist, right? So this is why having a niche and a specialty does become a way for you to be taken more seriously because you have a specific way that you can support people. Now, in the academy, we give you training on all of the different areas of coaching. We give you training on areas like relationship coaching, health coaching, money coaching, time coaching, decision-making coaching, career and life purpose coaching, all of it, executive coaching, all of it, like 16 or so different areas. And we give you teachings on all of those because we want you to know how to coach everyone on anything they're going through. And by doing that, you'll also know how to specialize. You'll notice which areas you're drawn to, and you may decide that you want to specialize in one of those areas, but you're still able to bring your knowledge of every other specialty into that niche. And that's important, right? If you're doing executive coaching, it's still important that you know how to coach relationships because guess what? So much of executive coaching, you're going to be coaching people on relationships. So that's just one example. And the importance of knowing how to coach people on all different areas. I know that there are some other training programs that they're just about one area of coaching and they just teach you that one area. But then the challenge I've heard coaches run into is they don't know how to support that client when they have a problem outside of that area. So for example, if you've just learned health coaching and then your client realizes that they have, a problem with their money or their relationships that's impacting their health, you need to know how to coach relationships and you need to know how to coach them around their money challenges. So hopefully that's making sense. The importance of learning all of the facets of coaching and then using that knowledge to then specialize. So another way you can stand out as a coach and be taken seriously is by having a premium or a high ticket offering. Now, what I mean by that is, as a coach, you get to decide what you want to charge. There's absolutely no regulation. You could charge nothing for your coaching. You could charge $1 for it. You could charge $1 million for your coaching. You're allowed to do all those things. And the thing about pricing your coaching programs and packages is that when you charge a premium, when you charge high ticket, you start to stand out. People start to take you more seriously because of the investment that they are making. They realize that, this is something that is going to go deep. This is the real deal. This is something I'm really going to get a big transformation in. So think about the investments and purchases you make in your own life, right? When you invest financially, when you really do make a big investment, you take that investment seriously, right? You treat it with more care. There's an expression that goes, people who pay attention. So people will take you more seriously when you charge premium, when you charge a high ticket. And I tend to define this as charging $3,000 each for a client, charging $5,000 each, $10,000 each, somewhere in that range and beyond. Most of our coaches, when they learn how to charge high ticket, they end up charging $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. That's per client, okay? Per client that they work with. Now, often people have a lot of questions about this because we are the only program that teaches how to sell high ticket coaching. Many other courses will say, just charge some kind of cheap hourly rate. And that's the best way to grow your business. And it's really not. It's not only an ineffective way to grow your business, but it also is creating so much more work for you that's unnecessary. And also, think about how seriously a person would take something if they're paying $50 for it versus if they're paying $5,000 for it. I have an entire episode on this podcast called Be a Premium Coach, and it's one of my favorite episodes that I did. So I dive a lot deeper into that in that episode on the importance of charging a premium for your coaching and why it is a win-win for both you and your client. It's episode 17 if you're curious to learn more about that. So charging premium. Now, some people say, well, should I be doing that right when I get started as a coach? I had one of our students who enrolled just this past week. She was asking this question. And I told her that, no, you never want to charge something you don't feel confident charging. So we're not telling our coaches, just go, charge $10,000 for your coaching right away. You want to start with something you feel confident charging, and you want to build up as you build up more testimonials and you start developing more confidence in your coaching skills. You will raise your rates accordingly. And it's actually very fast that you can go from charging nothing to charging thousands of dollars per client. So that is how you that is how you would begin. You're charging what you feel confident charging, but you want to make it a very important goal for your business to get to the point where you are confidently charging high ticket and knowing how to attract people that want to invest in that level. And no matter where you live, it doesn't matter. Location does not matter. If you're from a small town, if you're from a random island, as long as you have internet access, then you have the ability to attract people from all around the world that are looking for coaching. So no matter where you are right now, there are people out there that do want to invest at the premium level. They're looking for that big transformation. They don't want to hire a cheap coach. They don't want to pay for a cheap program. They want to really take their life to the next level because they're serious. So they will take you seriously because they see you are charging a premium. They will take the process seriously. They will get amazing results. So that is another way you can be taken seriously as a coach, is getting yourself to a place where you're charging a premium. You will also stand out because so few coaches do this because they assume that no one out there is going to invest at that level. And this is a big, 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 big myth. There are so many people out there that want to invest in themselves, want a deep transformation. It's just that so few coaches know how to message to that audience. They don't know how to attract them. And that's what we teach you how to do. All right, so another way to be taken seriously as a coach is by having client success. Having client success stories that you can share with others. So, of course, how do you get client success? You want to be coaching at the highest level. That's a given. But you also want to have a way to capture your client's success when it happens. So you may notice that on this podcast, at the end of many episodes, we have it's called a success spotlight. And it's a way for you to hear the story of many of the coaches that have gone through the academy so they can give you advice on how you can be successful as a coach. But also they share their own success, which demonstrates the value of our program and also the validity of how our program works for them and how it can work for you. So with your own coaching business, you want to make sure you have a process for capturing your clients' success. So when your clients start to have success, make sure you are asking them to share that with you. Let them hop on a video with you, a video chat where you can record them talking about their success. And that way you can leverage that. You can share that with other people. It is one of the best ways to market yourself. If people aren't taking you seriously, then just point them over to your page of client success. Let them go through that and decide how seriously they want to take you. Your results that you get with clients are going to make people take you very seriously when they say, whoa, okay, this person is the real deal. Look at all these results. They have this whole page of results from their clients that they worked with. So have a way to capture client success and also have a way to track your client's progress. Okay, you want to make sure that you aren't just coaching. A lot of people think coaching is an intangible service. It's absolutely tangible, and you've got to make it tangible for you and your clients. So on episode 72 of this podcast, I talk about how to measure the progress of life coaching clients. I feel like this is a topic that doesn't get discussed as much as it needs to get discussed. So when you're working with clients, how are you tracking their progress? How are you measuring the progress they're making so that way you can show to them and also show to your network the results, the tangible, measurable results that you are getting with your clients. So check out episode 72 for more tips for how to measure the progress for how to measure your client's progress and also track that with them. What ways could you be tracking your client's progress right now? And what is your current process for capturing their success when they have it? Your clients are going to be so delighted and happy to share their success. So all it takes sometimes is just simply asking. Okay, and the fifth tip and strategy for being taken seriously as a life coach this is a big one. Talking with certainty and calmness about you and your business. Talking with certainty and calmness, the two C's that are so important. So when you are networking, when you're connecting with people, when you're presenting yourself online and offline, it is so important to be aware of how you're presenting yourself to others, how you're coming across, and the way in which you're talking about you and your business. A lot of people They don't really see their business as real. They see it as a hobby or a project or a cute idea. They might talk about themselves as a new coach or a baby coach, or they might say, oh, I'm just kind of doing this coaching thing. And yeah, if you're interested, maybe we can talk. And they use a lot of vague, fluffy, wishy-washy language. And this is something that's going to detract success, and it's going to push people away. No one's going to take you seriously when you speak with wishy-washy language and you have wishy-washy energy. So notice, how are you presenting yourself as a coach right now when people talk with you about it? Are you saying, yeah, I'm kind of sort of doing this life coaching thing? Or are you speaking with certainty and calmness, saying, yeah, I'm a life coach. This is the work I do. This is what I love helping people with. I'd love to support you. I'd love to see how I could help you out. And think about what type of response someone would have when they are feeling your certainty and your calmness. Being able to believe so deeply in yourself, in the coaching process, and also in people. Those are the three things that you must believe in order to feel certainty and calmness about yourself and your business. You must believe in yourself and your ability to coach. You must believe in the coaching process, right? Knowing that coaching works. And you must believe in other people, which means believing that people have the capacity to change no matter the circumstances in their life. When you believe in those three things fully, when you believe it, when it's in your bones, then you will so effortlessly, calmly, and naturally talk about you and your business. When someone shares a problem, your response will be energetically, oh yeah, this is what I love helping people with. Of course, I'd love to chat with you about it. Let's get started, right? When you have this type of wishy-washy or even chaotic energy, you ever meet people that are chaotic and over the top, right? That could scare people away when you're overly excited about it. But there's something very, very powerful when you can speak with certainty and calmness. Many of the clients that have hired me over the years have said it's the calm and confident energy that I've had that has attracted them to want to work with me. It's what allowed them to feel excited and safe hiring me. So how could you present yourself in a way where you have calmness and where you have certainty? When you have all of those, you're going to present yourself with that confidence that people really need to feel for them to take you seriously and hire you. So in summary, as we recap this episode, which was super fun to share, how can you be taken seriously as a life coach? You want to get very high level coach training and mentorship. So that way you feel incredible about the coaching skills and the coaching process. You know exactly what to do. You have the frameworks and tools to help your clients. You secondly want to consider specializing your coaching business so you become a big fish in a small pond. Third is you want to have a premium or high ticket offering that people can invest in at a high level. Fourth is you have your client success that is shared, that's captured, that's tracked when you're working with your clients. And then fifth is talking with certainty and calmness about you and your coaching business. All right, that's how you are taken seriously as a life coach. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode.
I'm Kathy Moretz. I first discovered coaching when I had come to the end. I had just resigned from a corporate career, really. I'd had a successful series of jobs, and my last job in corporate was 8 years. I just knew that I was burnt out, and I knew that I was missing really a sense of balance in my life. And I took that opportunity to just step back and resign from my job, and then sought out coaching. I think of it now as a time when I was really holding space for myself to allow. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to process or how I wanted to think about things. And so I purposefully sought out a coach to be a guide for me and a support for me in that process. As it turns out, it was a coach who was trained at Thriving Coach Academy, though I didn't know that at the time. And during that coaching, there were times when she planted seeds for me and just suggested, I think of it now that I know, sort of offering and brainstorming, like, hey, have you thought about coaching? And was really responding to what she was seeing as, my gifts and strengths that would make me a powerful coach. But at the time, she wasn't talking about TCA or really her training. It was really in a lovely way, focused on me and what I was processing and sort of where I was at. At that time, I had just a wonderful positive experience with coaching. I took another few months off and just really gave myself that space. I am definitely a premium buyer. I mean, in my life, that's my profile. When something's important for me, I am looking for where can I find the best, highest quality. As I looked at Thriving Coach Academy, I mean, it met criteria for me. Like I could see that the program was comprehensive and specifically, I knew that I would get the training in the art of coaching and also the business development piece, because I never opened my own business. Thinking about establishing my own practice was just so energizing for me and really a motivator. TCA offered the full package. In the Thriving Coach Academy training and just in developing and building my strength as a coach, it's brought me to this point of really, for the first time, just standing in my own truth. I really do believe that anything is possible and my success is inevitable. If someone was considering TCA, my advice would be to go for it. My advice would be to trust in yourself and to honor your inner voice that's drawing you to coaching. TCA is a community of coaches that is beautifully supportive, and there is an underlying value that's part of Thriving Coach Academy that is about celebrating and acknowledging each other's successes and challenges and progress. And I have turned the corner from pro bono to offering my coaching services as a package with a price tag on it. At TCA, you're going to receive the highest quality training, both in coaching and business development.
Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coach's secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.